Athens is one of those cruise ports that sounds straightforward on paper, but in reality, it catches a lot of people out. The ship doesn't dock in Athens itself. The heat can be intense, the distances are bigger than you expect, and if you get the timing wrong, the day can feel rushed very quickly. I've cruised the Mediterranean many times, traveled to more than 70 countries, and Athens is one of those places where planning really matters. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 10 things you genuinely need to know before visiting Athens on a cruise. Let's start with the basics, because this is where confusion begins. Cruise ships visiting Athens dock at the port of Piraeus, and it's one of the largest passenger ports in Europe. There are also 3 main cruise terminals: Terminal A, Terminal B, and Terminal C. Terminal A is the busiest and has the most facilities, including toilets, free Wi-Fi, and small shops. Terminals B and C are used just as frequently, but they are a little further away from the city centre of Piraeus itself. The important thing to know is this: no matter which terminal you dock at, Athens is not right there. You are still several miles from the historic centre. There is a free shuttle that runs between the terminals, which helps, but you still need onward transport to reach Athens. Once you're off the ship, the key thing to understand is scale. Athens is a big city, and the main sites are spread out, so even simple journeys add up quickly, and almost every plan involves transport. From the cruise terminals to central Athens is roughly 8 miles. Even reaching the metro station involves a walk or a short bus or taxi ride, and in summer heat, that walk can feel far longer than it looks on a map. From the port, you have several ways to get into Athens, and each suits a different type of cruiser. Taxis are plentiful outside the terminals, and prices are regulated. And you can also use Uber in Athens. Public transport is very doable, but it isn't as simple as stepping straight onto a train. Piraeus metro station is around a 30-minute walk from Terminal A and around a 45-minute walk from Terminal B or C. However, once you actually get to the metro station from the cruise terminal, getting to Athens is easy, affordable, and very straightforward, and it's one of the most convenient ways to move between the main areas of the city. There's also a direct cruise-friendly bus, the X80, which runs from the port towards central Athens and major sites. It's affordable, air-conditioned, and designed with visitors in mind. For most cruise passengers, either the X80 bus or the metro will work perfectly well. Hop-on, hop-off buses are one of the most popular ways cruise passengers get around Athens. And for good reason. They stop close to the terminals, they take you past the major sites, and they remove a lot of navigation stress. However, they are not a magic solution. On busy days, especially when several ships are in port, queues can build quickly in the morning. In the afternoon, the return journey can be slow, crowded, and frustrating. My advice is simple: use it as a transport tool, not as a sightseeing marathon. Get where you want to go early, and have a backup plan for getting back to the ship if things slow down. If seeing the Acropolis is high on your list, planning really matters, especially on a cruise day. The most important thing to know is that the Acropolis operates on timed entry slots. You can only enter during your allocated time window, with a small grace period either side, so you need to arrive close to your book time. Because of this, it's essential to work backwards. Think realistically about how long it will take to get from your ship to the Acropolis, including transport, queues, walking time, and security checks, and then build in extra buffer before choosing your slot. On busy days, especially when several ships are in port, delays are common, and you don't want to be worrying about missing your entry window. I'd also avoid booking anything too early, unless you're confident you can get off the ship quickly and into the city without delays. Late morning or early afternoon often works better for cruise passengers, as it gives you a calmer start to the day. It's also worth being realistic about the experience itself. There is a steady uphill walk, uneven surfaces, and very little shade. In the warmer months, the heat can be intense, and that's something you need to factor into your timing and energy levels. The Acropolis is incredible, and absolutely worth seeing, but it's one of those places where thoughtful planning makes the difference between an enjoyable visit and a stressful one. Here's something many people overlook. If the climb, the heat, or the crowds put you off the Acropolis itself, The Acropolis Museum is an excellent alternative. It's air-conditioned, thoughtfully laid out, and you get to see original stonework up close, with views of the Acropolis from ground level. For anyone who struggles with walking, or simply wants a calmer experience, this can be a far more enjoyable way to connect with Athens history, without exhausting yourself before lunch. You don't have to do everything the hard way to have a meaningful day. Once you're actually in the city, not everything in Athens needs transport, and this is where the day can start to feel far more relaxed. Areas like Monastiraki and Plaka are compact, lively, and very easy to explore on foot. Plaka, in particular, is all about atmosphere, narrow streets, traditional tavernas, souvenir shops, and that classic old town feel. And it's a lovely place to slow the pace down after a busy morning. Monastiraki is also very practical on a cruise day. Most cruise shuttles and transport options drop you close to this area, which makes it an easy base rather than somewhere you have to go out of your way to reach. Just a short walk away, the Athens Central Market is another great stop if you want to experience everyday Athens, rather than just the headline sites. There are also major sites that fit easily into a walking route, like the changing of the guard outside the Greek Parliament at Syntagma Square, which runs regularly and doesn't require any extra planning. If the heat is starting to build, or you're feeling transport fatigue, focusing on these walkable areas often leads to one of the most enjoyable and least stressful Athens port days. Athens isn't just about ruins and landmarks, it's about food, and one of the most enjoyable ways to experience the city is through a guided food walking tour. These tours take you through neighborhoods you might not otherwise visit, introduce you to local specialities, and give you a deeper sense of place, without the physical demands of climbing hills in the heat. One thing to be very aware of in Athens, particularly in summer, is just how much the heat can shape your plans. When I was in Athens, temperatures reached 40 degrees, and the Acropolis was closed on the day we were leaving because it was simply too hot. This is not unusual in summer. There is very little shade at the Acropolis itself, the climb is exposed, and the stone reflects heat. Midday in Athens can be brutal, especially if you're not used to it. This doesn't mean you shouldn't go, but it does mean timing is everything. Early mornings and late afternoons are far more comfortable, and trying to squeeze everything into the hottest part of the day is where people start to struggle. This is one of the most important things to understand. Like Barcelona and Civitavecchia, Athens is often an embarkation or disembarkation port. That means many people are flying in or out on the same day. And it also means the city deserves more than a rushed port stop. If your cruise starts or ends in Athens, arriving a few days early, or staying on after, makes a huge difference. There is so much to see and do, and spreading it out avoids the worst heat and crowds. What I would strongly advise against is flying into Athens Airport on the same day your cruise departs. With flight delays, traffic, and the distance to the port, it's not a risk worth taking. Finally, and this really matters, Athens is demanding. It's hot, it's busy, and there's a lot to see. Choose one or two priorities, plan them properly, build in time to get back to the ship without rushing. And remember, enjoying Athens doesn't mean ticking every box. So now you know how Athens Cruise Port really works, what catches people out, and how to plan a day that actually feels enjoyable rather than overwhelming. But Athens is just one example. If you want to avoid the biggest mistakes people make across the Mediterranean, watch my guide on screen now.